Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let's be honest. It's gentlemen mostly. I think it's 0.01% women. But we're going to talk about piracy. Now, you may be noticing that this episode is hitting very early on a Monday, and that's because Fortune smiled on me, and I got some really interesting footage. Often when we do the piracy show, we talk about various topics in a broad sense because we don't have the minutia, we don't have the details, we don't have the important things that allow us to really kind of get down to the nitty-gritty. We can only talk about the overarching philosophies behind a lot of ideas and behind a lot of topics. What we would like to see, what it is, I mean, that's always a reality that you have to face as a gamer, is you have to realize the objective conditions of the battlefield and not just simply hope for a better outcome. Sometimes you have to accept this is the way it is, and this is how I'm going to deal with it. You know, you have to formulate realistic plans. You can't live in dreamland. But, you know, sometimes it's difficult to talk about things on a philosophical level when you're kind of wanting to get down to the nitty-gritty and get into the actual applications of things. Sometimes, though, we get lucky, and there's a parallel. So I'm just going to show you just a brief little clip of the aftermath of what happens when you do piracy wrong.
Oh, the baby! Guys, you want to see what a winner looks like? Look, right here. Here's a winner. Look at this guy. Yeah, he's a winner.
All hail the winner. How shall we do?
Woo, all hail the winners.
Here comes
Nah.
another
I'll
one.
just use my fist this time. I'll use my fist this time if you want to go.
Grabby's winner friend too. Look, everyone, it's the winner. The winners. Like, oh, let's make them kiss. Like, oh,
Winners, yeah, winners.
oh, the winners. Oh.
Now, you may be wondering, what the hell is that, and what does it have to do with Star Citizen? What that is an illustration of the fact that the moment you commit an act of aggression against another player in foreign territory especially, the clock is ticking. You have to understand that the clock is ticking and it is working against you, and every moment you spend tied up into that act, the odds of something bad happening to you just increase. Reinforcements, an entire armada could roll down on top of you. What happened to those guys in particular was 3 of our members had been in the southwest corner of a map in this new survival MMO, Lost Oasis, and they got jumped by 5 players, and they were holding their own while being outnumbered. But what the guys attacking them didn't understand is that they weren't alone. There was, in fact, several groups in an alliance in that area who found out immediately that it was happening, and all started converging from like all 4 corners. Well, it's a hexagon, so not really all 4 corners, but you know what I'm saying. Just started closing in on them. They didn't even realize it because they were sitting there and they were stuck into what they were doing, and they weren't thinking about the big picture. And that's the thing. If you're going to pirate in Star Citizen, you have got to look at situations and say, can I resolve this in a reasonable amount of time, get what I need to get, and then get the hell out? Because if you can't, then you shouldn't even engage in the first place. You have to remember, like, when you look at the map in Star Citizen and you see people quantuming around, think about those quantum trips and how long they take. Start a stopwatch. Keep track of that, because that's probably the amount of time you have to pull off what you're trying to pull off. This, like, if someone calls out for help, it's very likely that in the future people are going to get the ability to call out an SOS and put up a beacon in space and say, I am here, come and help me. And all of a sudden you could have a ton of people piling down on top of you, and that is the way it should be. That is entirely the way it should be. It is up to the pirate to be smart about the situation and know what's worth it, what isn't worth it, and how much time do I have to work with to get done what I need to get done and get out with the goods. Otherwise, not worth it in the first place. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think that, of course, pirates should be able to, if they're appropriately equipped and smart, and depending on how all the game mechanics work, because once again, we're talking about things that just don't exist in the game yet, so we're not exactly sure how a lot of these systems are going to work. We have vague notions, but no real information. But yeah, should we be able to jam transmissions or distress transmissions or maybe quantum beacons if we have that level of equipment and that level of sophistication in our act? Sure. But at the same time, you have to realize that when you kind of step into the unknown and you step into an area that you don't understand, it's probably a good idea to get the lay of the land first. The consequences can be unfortunate.
Oh, there it goes.
Look at your poor shit!
You know, oftentimes when I read these threads or these comments, you know, people going like, oh my god, piracy is going to ruin Star Citizen. These hooligans are out to get us and ruin our game. And I read them and I go, like, what are you guys talking about? I mean, do you even play Star Citizen? 'Cause it's like, pad ramming, it's got to stop. A new thread by such and such on Reddit. And, you know, everyone's just like, oh my god, dude. Star Citizen for ages has been an incomplete game and will continue to be an incomplete game for some time to come. There's a lot of the enforcement tools in Star Citizen are just not there. In a game like Last Oasis, the enforcement is in the hands of the players, and we do a decent job. But you have to understand that in Star Citizen, it's different. It's incomplete, so you're getting an incomplete picture. These guys stepped into a situation that they didn't understand. We had a shared Discord with everyone else in that zone. Anybody steps into that zone, we know about it immediately. We know who you are, where you are, what you're bringing. We know everything. And you have to assume that in Star Citizen, in a game with stakes equally as high as Last Oasis, if not more, that players are going to form alliances and they are going to be equally as sophisticated as that. That is baseline level stuff. You know, that is what to expect. So, you know, when I see people, you know, kind of going like, oh no, piracy is going to ruin Star Citizen, it's like, I don't think so. I don't think that it is not nearly the threat that a lot of people kind of assume that it's going to be. And they're kind of basing it off of someone rammed me on the pad at Olisar. And it's just like, dude, come on. You're talking about somebody doing something dumb in a game that isn't even fully fleshed out yet. Once the game is in, once all the content is in, the prisons are in, the real crime stats system is there, the real penalties are in, that's when you can start to look at it and say, this works, this doesn't work. We are not there yet. But as a pirate, you got to look at it and you got to realize that, you know, the odds are, and should be, because that's what makes it interesting, that's what makes it exciting, is the odds are stacked against you. And this isn't going to be kind of a fly by the seat of your pants and just hope for the best type thing and succeed. This is going to be a very careful, methodical thing, especially in high security systems like Stanton, if we can really even get away with it in a profitable way in a system like Stanton. We may end up operating more and more in the fringe, and, you know, that's obviously where Pyro comes in the future, but I think that the most important thing is to acknowledge the objective realities of the battlefield that you're on and not just sit there and whine and moan about like, oh, well, I think they need to change this and I think they need to change that. There are things that do need to be changed, but there are some things that are fundamental to the game like PvP that can't be changed, and the consequences as well. And so you kind of accept those consequences, and then you have to plan around them. And that, you know, that's a knife that cuts both ways. So something to think about. Anyways, I'll leave the episode off here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.
grab his winner friend too. Look, everyone, it's the winner. The winners. Look, oh, let's make them kiss. Like, oh, oh, the winners. Oh.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.